Alright, listen up. This story isn't for the faint of heart. If you're easily scared, now's your chance to back out. Because what I'm about to tell you, it still keeps me up at night. It all started when Naomi, the new girl in our town, decided to poke her nose where it didn't belong. You know the type, always looking for the next thrill, always needing to prove something. Ravenswood has this legend about the Whispering Woods. Everyone knows it. You don't go in there after dark. Simple as that. But Naomi? She thought it was all a joke, a bunch of small-town superstition. One freezing November night, she decided to prove everyone wrong. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and her camera, she walked straight into the woods. At first, everything seemed fine. It was quiet. Too quiet, actually. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears, making your heartbeat sound like a drum. Her flashlight was the only thing cutting through the darkness, but even that felt like it wasn't enough. The trees seemed taller, their branches like claws reaching down. She kept walking, talking to herself to stay calm. See? Nothing here, she whispered. But then, she heard it. A faint click-click sound, like something tapping on wood. She froze, swinging her flashlight around, but there was nothing there. The sound stopped. She let out a shaky laugh and kept moving. But then it came again. Louder this time. Click, click, click. It was following her. "Who's there?" she called, trying to sound brave. No answer. Just the sound. Closer now. She started walking faster, the beam of her flashlight bouncing wildly. And then her flashlight flickered. For a second, she was plunged into darkness. When the light came back on, she noticed something terrifying. Her shadow wasn't moving with her. Let that sink in for a second. Her shadow wasn't moving. It stayed perfectly still as she took a shaky step forward. And then, it moved. Not with her, but toward her. That was when she ran. Full on, sprinting through the woods, branches tearing at her clothes and her skin. Her camera bounced against her chest, recording every horrifying second. Behind her, the clicking sound turned into a low, guttural growl. She didn't dare look back. She thought she could outrun it, but the forest had other plans. The path twisted and turned in ways it hadn't before, like the woods were alive, trying to trap her. Then she stumbled into a clearing. At first, she thought she was safe, but then she saw it. A circle of dead grass in the middle of the clearing. The earth blackened like it had been burned. The air felt wrong, heavy and cold. That's when she felt it. A presence. She turned around, and there it was. It didn't have a face. It didn't have a shape, not really. It was like a living shadow shifting and swirling like smoke, and even though it didn't have eyes, she knew it was staring right at her. She screamed, but the sound barely escaped her throat before it lunged. The last thing her camera recorded was her standing in the middle of the clearing, her mouth moving silently, her eyes wide with terror, and then static. The next morning, her camera was found just outside the woods. Her footage? It's been passed around town, but no one watches it more than once. Some say they hear whispers in the static, words they can't quite understand. No one ever found Naomi, and no one goes near the Whispering Woods anymore. So, if you're ever in Ravenswood, take my advice. Don't go into the woods. And if you hear that clicking sound, run and subscribe for more.